Hello and welcome everybody out there in YouTube and D&D land. Holy shit, I almost said the T word for the first time in like 4 years. Anyways, before we jump into the action, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All of those things help us out tremendously. If you're interested in supporting our community a little bit further, consider becoming a member here on our YouTube channel. Memberships start at just $2 a month, and you gain access to some really cool emotes. Lastly, if you are interested in joining any of our campaigns, we do have open slots available. The Sunday Daddy's Issues campaign, this is their final story arc before we're moving on to a brand new campaign, and that slot will fill up pretty damn quickly. And we have Tuesday early has 3 open slots available. The game is currently off stream since we only have 3 players in it, but as soon as we get up to 5, we'll be returning to streaming, unless people want to stay off stream regardless. But that is a low level campaign. They are only level 6 right now. So they're dealing with things that are way less devastating, like, archdevils taking away all of your powers and things like that. So, if you're interested in either of those, be sure to reach out and let me know, or go through our Patreon in order to see if the community feels like a good fit and get into our private Discord server just by joining at any of the lower tiers. Now, without further ado, go ahead, Glenn, tell us what happened.
All right. Let's see. We started off last session back at the spa, and deciding of where we were going to go from there. Gathering the party, we decided that our next bet would probably be to talk to Tal'Dorei and try to make some amends with ditching him at the ball in the Hells. Before we head off to the Plane of Fire, which is located by I forget which mountain it was. But it was
Mount Dormant.
Mount Dormant. There we go. And it's a place where the Dwergar operated and forged items that some of our party members already knew about, who have been there before. Actually, before we headed off to Mount Dormant, we did do a little bit of shopping. Forgot to add that. Yeah. Everybody grabbed some things that would be useful in the elemental plane of fire, as well as just general goodies such as health potions and such. Bart also did pick up some scrolls of banishment, and we headed off over to Mount Dormant. Finding our way over there, having a few of our party members already been here before, it wasn't that hard to get back over to the portal that took us over to the Plane of Fire. Once we got over to that elemental plane, I believe Glenn was the only one that was majorly suffering from the conditions of the weather over there, as we were traveling through trying to get to Tal'Dorei's palace within the plane. Once we arrived, the doors were closed and were not letting us in, but one of the servants there, Myrmidon, I believe, who owed some sort of debt to our party, some of our members, for releasing him from some area of torture or such, and feeling that Myrmidon did owe some sort of allegiance to us, decided to step forward and let us into Tal'Dorei's estate, knowing that there may be some punishment in store for his actions. Regardless, Myrmidon did lead us into Tal'Dorei's estate, and I believe for the first time for a lot of our party members, we've seen anger from Tal'Dorei and the power that he actually does represent, despite his friendly nature. Displaying his power and showing that, that his expressing his feelings of betrayal, that we did leave him alone there. Felt that some sort of punishment was needed to reprimand what we have done. and demanding that one of us would be, I guess, sacrificing our lives of sorts because Tal'Haj believes an eye for an eye. He died in the plains of hell, so one of us has to die in return. As our group was discussing which one of us would take this, Myrmidon did decide to step up and say that whatever punishment that Tal'Haj deemed necessary for the group to also include him as well, as he believes that he owes this group that much in his allegiance. Seeing this, Tal'Haj decided to throw Myrmidon into the plane of water right in front of our eyes, and
without getting too detailed.
Yeah, and the party not seeing this as just plain wrong, Bart immediately casted banishment on Myrmidon to return him to the plane of fire. Seeing this, Tal'Haj was more than satisfied with what he saw, and almost made like a complete 180 turn afterwards, and said, "Okay, I'm glad that we were able to solve that." And to be honest, he did not want to do any of that. And we quickly learned that he was actually just going to ignore us the entire time if we did not show up in front of his door. With things pretty much amended, Tal'Haj, being the friendly person that he is, decided to help us with our conundrum that we had with the Hells now. And by helping us out, it also helps him out in trying to maybe expand his territory again. With that, he did decide to, we did pay some sort of fee in order to access his library to gain some wealth of information that could help us in our future travels. And Bart was also given the option to start anew, pretty much, under Tal'Haj's image, and was going through a rebirthing process of sorts. And I believe that is where we left off.
So, where last we left off, Bartikov is peeled out from the flames by Tal'Haj, who casually steps inside and picks him up and carries him, wrapping him in very fine silks and linens that are meant to bandage and heal his predicament. Tal'Haj will go over to one of his guardians. Would you be so kind as to take him to a recovery chamber? One that has a nice arrangement of flora for him. As soon as Tal'Haj is about to hand him over, Monkey steps up. Well, I think I'll be the one to look after him while he's doing his recovery bits. We'll scoop him up, and Tal'Haj will allow the two of them to recede and leave, giving me a perfect excuse for why they're not here while you guys are doing the research. Reese is going to remain here so that he can bombard you guys with bardic inspirations while you conduct your researches on those various topics.
So kind of him.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it?
Doesn't sound like Reese at all.
He cares about this topic, so yes, it does sound like him. He needs this more than you guys.
If it involves him, you bet your ass he's in it.
Fair point.
So, after this ritual, you go back over to the library, and a vast amount of books have been placed out on the various tables. Well, so we have the information on Jublix over there, and we have the information on Luciphon over there, and Levistus over there, and Michael there. The power transferring information seems to be very lacking, but there are a few select tomes, Rasan, you're more than welcome to delve into. So, Reese will load each of you up with a bardic inspiration. And you guys get to decide who is researching each of those 4 topics. We have Jublix, Lucifon, Levistus, and Michael.
I'll take Jublix.
Dibs on Lucifon.
I was about to ask, like, do we want? Okay,
Type it out, guys. Type it out.
We're just gonna go in it. All right. So, someone said Lucifon. Someone said Jublex.
Yep.
Who do you want, Cornwallis?
So it's Jublix, Lucifon, Michael, and who was the other one?
Levistus.
Oh, Levistus.
I'm interested in both, so I'll take whichever one you want.
I will forewarn you, there seems to be far less information about Levistus.
Well, I think you're the more studious one, Glenn. So which one do you think will have the bigger chance at an impact? I think you should go after that one.
Oh, I'm assuming that one would probably be Michael, because the relations with Lilith and such.
All right.
That was the other son, right?
Michael, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, then I'll research Levistus.
The only thing you guys know about Michael, and you can hear me fine with the mic at this angle, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
You're good.
Just making sure. The only information you guys have on Michael as of now is he is Asmodeus's eldest son, Lucifon's brother. Glacia.
Eldest.
Glacia is older.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Eldest son, but not eldest offspring.
Yeah. I'm just gonna type in Lucifon for you.
Oh, thanks.
You're good. It's very strange how spelling works in D&D, and Samdi is a good ooze boy.
I just guessed on that.
No, you got it. It's Mike A. L.
Nice.
Okay. So, Samdi, you're going to be the first individual conducting your check. Why don't you roll me your investigation roll? Keep in mind, you do have that juicy D10. And this is going to span multiple hours, so don't worry about, oh, am I going to use it right now? Reese is short resting the entire time just to load you guys up with more. He is nothing but a bardic inspiration font right now. That is all he is for you guys.
We're here studying books in the library. He's just shredding the freaking loot. It's inspiring us.
Hell yeah.
The fire and flame is very fitting right now.
So, Samdi, after you, sir.
Thank God I didn't use the game advantage. It would have been shy. Alright,
Hit
D10.
us with that D10. Come on. Oh, come on.
We're just so close to being good.
I hovered over 8.
Yeah, that would have been... On an 8, you would have had at least, like, good information. So the information you find out. Levistus is an archdevil. Known...
No, he did Jublix.
Oh, sorry. Let me scroll up.
I have Levistus.
Looks like
Turns
more
out we
shit.
accidentally swapped books.
That's why
explains
we're
the role.
fucking up. Alrighty.
We've never talked anything about oozes. What the fuck is this?
So, Jublix, the demon lord of ooze, is also known as the malevolent entity who is associated with corruption and decay of organic matter. You don't find a whole lot of other information about Jublix. However, he seems to have stronger dominion within swamplands, sludge, but also destruction and decay, which leads you to believe he might actually be like an active bane to Mama Vusi. Whereas she is swamps and wildlands and family in order to care for and nurture. He is for destruction and decay. And that's about all you figure out, unfortunately. At least on the first check. Next up, Genesis. Investigation roll on Now roll a d10. $12. That gets you some information. To date, known as the youngest born to Asmodeus. Also, in some of the books you're reading, he is known as the Liar Son, Liar. Dishonorable, Luciphon the Fallen Star. He is also referred to as Betrayer of Devils. He has a lot of titles that make him sound even not liked about devils that you're discovering, which is completely contrarian to everything you've heard about him from devils and everybody else so far. But then again, you're pretty early on into your investigations, only getting some of the oldest of books and tomes. Next up, Cornwallis on Levistus.
All right. Investigation, right?
Yes, sir.
Of course.
God
I'm
damn.
actually not terrible at this, and then I roll a 1.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
But we're not going to find anything. Reese never should have left us up to do research.
I miss Cat. I miss Cat so much.
Listen, Cornwallis had a great opportunity to do amazingly well. All right, so 11. Levistus is an archdevil, known as the Lord of the Fifth in the Nine Layers. Also known as the Devil Lord of Survival. Also known as the Prince of Ambition. He is disliked by all of the archdevils in hell. There is not a single one that you're able to read about who actually views him as an ally because of his persistent ambition to take over the Nine Hells. Yet, you know, if something claims that they can best Asmodeus, Asmodeus usually takes his wrath out on them pretty well. Example, Reese. Why isn't Levistus being targeted by all of this?
Okay.
And now, Michael. Yep, Tomb of Levistus is insane. So Glenn, your investigation.
Seeing these rolls, I will add a d6 to this.
Watch, now he rolls an 18.
Yeah. And a d10.
Did I not call that? What are the odds that I called the exact die that he rolled?
That's a 31, baby.
Fucking hell. So, Asmodeus's gem, his prize, his most keenly aspired to creation of all time, is his firstborn daughter. She is ambitious. She is power. She is incredibly well-mannered, but deceitful, malicious, torturous, everything that a devil aspires to be. Michael was born slightly different from her, with the same mother. Michael did not possess her same ability of spellcraft so easily. However, he did possess the ability of blade that was very, very adept. To the point where some people even rumored that Asmodeus may had him with a different spouse, especially since something happened back during the time of his birth that made him and Lilith more or less separated. Lilith was stripped of her ability around the time of Michael's birth to hold anything, possess anything, have any amount of domain within the hells, and was even banished from his layer of hell unless she went into his castle and stayed there. She, being unable to bend the knee to any individual, refused to do so, and then just decided to wander the other layers. Michael was an exceptional bladesmith. Very adept with it, very astute and studious. By the time that he was only around 150 years old, which, remember, devils, pretty damn old. Actually, 150 is young, but they live a long time. He was already en route to becoming a general within the armies of the Hells. The only thing he was waiting on was for a position to open up. But that position would not open up for at least another 300 years. Within 200 of those years, the third born was created, Luciphon. And the two of them seemed to have an innate rivalry. Whereas Michael treated Luciphon as an obstacle to overcome, and whenever he did, a annoyance and nuisance that wasn't worth his time. Michael was treated as hated by his brother, completely despised everything that Michael seemed to live for. On battlefields, Michael would have very strange situations occur where numerous other high-level and powerful devils would die, and yet he would survive with very little scratches on him. And of course, being the son of Asmodeus, nobody ever spoke out against him out of fear of those consequences. Asmodeus, however, absolutely loved his child. Around that 300-year mark is when, the first time in nearly 500 years, a powerful devil general of the armies of the Hells fell and would not come back. The position opening up, Michael smoothly took over that position. However, he was challenged by his brother, Luciphon. It was a remarkable bout and fight that happened. Michael possessing a very keen blade that was exceptionally astute at striking and killing devils in particular. Luciphon not having such a weapon himself, instead only kept to his one blade that he had at that time, a blade that was meant to make him bloodthirsty for devil or demons and to kill them easily. Fighting the two, Michael bested Luciphon, dropping him to his knees in the bout and sparing his life within this duel. However, Luciphon claimed that Michael was cheating, and Michael proclaimed loudly he was not. Making a definitive statement as a devil is a very dangerous thing unless it is completely true, a gambit that devils need to analyze if they're willing to take or not. See, a devil is incapable of telling a lie. They can be deceitful as much as they would like, but they cannot lie. So, such a bold statement putting him in such a rare predicament, if that lie was to come to light, there would be no other choice except to torture and punish this devil. Everyone thought that Luciphon was accusing his brother of this deception, of cheating within the battle and bout, and nobody was willing to hear him out. Even to the point where Luciphon was screaming at Asmodeus, claiming, "You're allowing this child in order to disturb what it means to be a devil, bringing dishonor to the name of devils everywhere. He does not deserve any seat of power." Asmodeus took that opportunity to rip Luciphon's wings from his back and banish him to the mortal realm, where he was left nearly dead with no weapons, none of his wings, and none of his devilish aspirations. Michael kept these wings as a trophy, mantled inside of his home, and took over the position of general. He lasted as general for nearly 70 years, before, it would appear that Lucifon came back to the Nine Hells with definitive proof that his brother was a cheater, and their battle ensued again. He thought, since at this point he had become a general of the Hells and trained relentlessly for this amount of time, that he would be unstoppable, unkillable. No way somebody amongst the mortals could ever hold a candle up to him. However, Michael was slain by his brother's blade within that battle. And yeah, after that occurred, Michael's story was cut short. The last things written about him is that Asmodeus lost some power that day, choosing to punish and banish his son, who did everything that devils are supposed to do, however, choosing to defend the one that lied instead. And it was during that time that devils as a whole changed forever, seeing that deception is the key to them getting what they want and getting more powerful, and realizing that Asmodeus cannot punish you for deceiving. Only consequence can. And from that point on, devils turned into deceitful, manipulative creatures, and Lucifon had earned his nickname within the Nine Hells as Consequence. That is absolutely everything about Michael.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, with all that information and how, like, it sounds like going down any further with Michael is kind of like a lost cause because of this battle that happened. Like, it's pretty much useless. No.
He did.
Yeah.
He's dead,
Yeah. Throw the book over my shoulder. Well, that's a dead end.
Is there any mention in there, Glenn, what happened to Lucifon's sword after the first fight?
Yeah, you know what, Cornwallis? That's a good point. The sword does sound kind of familiar, right?
Yeah, doesn't it? It kind of rings a bell.
Is there a check I can make to see if this, like, hey, that sword's description sounds oddly familiar to the Abyssal
Was
Blade.
it like confiscated by Asmodeus after his loss? And he stripped him or something?
So, I'll say you didn't find that information in all of this, Glenn. However, Genesis, as you speak Infernal, you understand the culture around devils. That is a part of learning a language. You know that in devils' culture, when there is an honorable battle or fight that ensues, it is customary that the victor of the battle is rewarded with something, a trophy from their bout and battle. And seeing as you guys found that sword from a general of the Nine Hells, the same layer that Michael became a general on, you can come to any assumptions you would like.
This is Blade!
Well, that should certainly grab his attention. So we definitely need to find more information on the ritual to summon him. I mean, it sounds like Lucifon is Reese's best bet. Now, obviously, that's Reese's decision, not ours. We can't make that for him.
True.
But I would suggest that maybe we focus our efforts to focus more on Lucifon. Now, Sambi, I think you're researching Jubilix, and I think that's probably as much for Bart as it is Reese, or maybe more for Bart than Reese, from what little I know about your characters, or your people.
Yeah, that would make sense. So I think you hit the hammer on the nail. The probably only want to be either focusing in on Lucifon or also looking into Oozeblex
Yeah.
for Barton. But what you guys find out anything interesting with Levistus and everybody else?
I didn't find a great deal. I mean, he's an archdevil. We kind of already knew that. He's known as the Lord of Survival, Prince of Ambition. Not real popular. Seems he wants to take over the Nine Hells, but it seems weird that Asmodeus has not crushed him for wanting to do so, because that has been his typical response for people that have outwardly said stuff like that. So, I mean, there could be something there with Levistus. If he's powerful enough that Asmodeus isn't willing to try and crush him, because he's not sure if he can, that could definitely be a point for Reese to get his backing. Question is how likely is he to want to take that risk?
Oh, maybe I guess maybe something to keep in the back pocket, right? Say like, we fail with barking down Lucifan's tree, but we do make a lot of noise, and then we get Levistus' attention, and maybe it's like a backup plan just in case. But I think if that's all we got, then let's focus our attentions on Ublex for Bart and Lucifan for Reese.
Okay. So, how are we going to divvy up who's doing what? And you can pick to target a specific either history of one of those two, or aspect of one of those twos, or inquiry of one of those two. Or one person can help somebody else, and so on.
I do have something specific in mind to target.
Okay.
For Ublex, I would like to research if there's any records of past patrons and what happened to them.
Of Ublex having past patrons?
Yeah, not patrons. Like people that were like in Bart's situation, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't think of what the term is for the person who has a patron.
Yeah.
Patronage.
The patronage. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So type,
Okay, I'll type it up.
Yeah. We're going to do this systematically, everybody.
All right. So if Zombie and Glenn, Zombie, are you gonna keep digging into Jublix then with Glenn?
Sure.
Genesis, you want to focus on Lucifon in history, or do you want to focus on Lucifon in the sake of, like, we need to try and find how to summon him or how to contact him? Summon's probably the wrong word.
I think I'm more proficient in how to contact him rather than history, so I think I should stick with what I'm more proficient in.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a ritual of some sort, that might lean into your religious knowledge.
I'll try that.
Okay,
right.
then I will try and research history on...
Yep. Everybody type out what you are specifically targeting so that it's easier for me to bring that up for your respective ability checks. History of Lucifon. Okay.
Is that what you're looking for?
Yes. And then Samdi.
To be very honest, I don't really have anything too pressing. Can I just assist?
Yeah.
Glenn?
Sounds perfectly good. All right, keep in mind, inspirations, finger guns. Everything. There you go. So, we'll start with you, Glenn. Go ahead and roll me your investigation check.
All right. At advantage, and I'll use another d6 for Bart. This is for Bart. Ooh, so close to a nat one. And then a d10.
Nice.
Ooh.
35.
Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, we want to find out anything, just give it to Glenn. He can only do that a couple more times, though, right?
Yeah.
We're getting there. Okay. Jublix, the Faceless Lord, the Slime Lord, Father of Slime, Patron of Pestilence, the Fitted Prince, Indescribable Darkness, He Who Slithers, Glistener, the Unspeakable, the Unnameable One, the Formless One, the Oozing Hunger. He has had more names given to him than any other entity in known existence, including derogatory, the Lord of Nothing, as many of the demons seem to believe he is now. At one point in time, Jublix was amongst the most powerful of demons. All right, let me get back to where I was. The Long-Winded. That's me, thank you very much. At one point in time, Jublix belonged to the Oberith Lords, which were the most powerful of all demons in existence. The ones that were among them were himself, Dagon, Pazuzu, as well as Tharizdun. These entities ruled over the Abyss on their respective portions of the layers, taking them over as they see fit. However, according to some research, Jublix was originally a part of the elemental plane of chaos. Completely different than the others, whereas they were born and birthed of it. Part of his raw essence seems to be chaos itself, destruction, destroying of everything. And it was rumored for a very long time that Jublix wasn't even self-aware. It was just an agent of this destruction. However, as time progressed, they realized that Jublix did have knowledge, did have understanding, and did have ambition. As he was slowly oozing his way into the ranks of thousands and thousands of damned individuals, finding people that were backed into a corner and giving them the option of an unfair amount of destruction and acidic death in order to ensure that they will serve him, expanding his lair vastly because of that. It is unknown the exact number of individuals that Jublix had influenced on the mortal coil. However, it is reasonable to believe that quite a few magnificently large events that left areas, towns, civilizations eradicated mysteriously are attested because of Jublix. The only constants of him was the fact that he always sought the people that had no other choice. They had to achieve something. They had to get what they wanted. And he was willing to help them, but at a cost that most of them were unwilling to pay or unknowingly would pay. As such, Jublix expanded his domain and power to the point where those other demons mentioned before decided that he had to be taken care of. The Oberith decided that they were going to attack him. The trio went against Jublix and struck him of his powers, attacking and destroying his domain, seeking out his worshippers, his soldiers out in the universe and murdering them in cold blood, taking over his job, what he was trying to do. As such, Jublix became incredibly weak, and there was a long period of time, roughly about 1,500 years, where Jublix had no written knowledge about what he was doing. Some believe that Jublix was dead. Some believe that he was dormant, just planning and waiting for when he inevitably found one more follower in order to attack with. And he did. There was a powerful individual, a prince of an entire nation, by the name of Ashtar Shi. Aftar was a reasonable prince to all of his people, very loving and adoring. He was an individual who sought to make sure that prosperity was felt by everybody, not just housing the gold at the top of society by himself and other lords underneath him, but dispersing it into the common folk, helping them have easier lives, helping them to prosper, grow, learn, educate themselves. It was a very good time within his kingdom. However, fatefully one night, it turns out that there was going to be a dragon attack, and his soldiers and knights could not stop it. An ancient, powerful blue dragon was coming for the kingdom and was going to take it over completely for themselves. Struck with madness after this, Aftar was trying everything he could, including sending out messengers to reason with the dragon, pay the dragon to not attack his people, but nothing ever came back to him. It was learned later on that Jublix was systematically killing all of these messengers, making sure that the dragon heard whispers of this prince's power and how he believed he was the apex predator of the skies. Blue dragons being known for how powerful they are, but also how stupid they are. Now, with the dragon attacking his city, destroying the crops, and destroying all of the people were trying to defend their prince as relentlessly as they could. And the prince wanted nothing more than to save his people. He called out to the Pantheon, who did not answer. He called out to the Hells, who would not answer. And then he called out into the void. There was one voice sitting there waiting to answer. Jublix. Jublix told him, "Allow me to bring my domain to yours, and I shall vanquish this horrific monstrosity and empower and embolden your people and shape them as magnificently as I shape myself." Being lured in by the need and want for this help, he didn't even second guess it. And he became the catalyst of Jublix expanding through the entirety of his realm, taking over his entire large kingdom and city, expanding ooze flooding through the streets, taking down the walls and structures, eradicating most of the people that were weak, and transforming the others into mindless oozes that all swelled and attacked that dragon and completely dissolved it. It is rumored that to this day, Aftar is still alive. Jublix's fun little toy that allowed him to expand his world out into a different realm and then bring it down into the realm of chaos inside of the abyss. The entire city engulfed, all of the people sacrificed, and the prince lives and exists knowing that he did this, that he brought this entity here.
Well, that's a fun story.
Thank you.
Well, shit. I mean, I knew it was bad, but I mean, surprised that this guy's actually still alive. I mean, rumored to be still alive. Where was the last place that is on record of where Aftar was seen?
The last place he was seen was in this far off world called EXANDRIA.
Oh,
But
shit.
again, the entirety of that realm, his kingdom, was completely engulfed and destroyed.
Okay.
Gonzo. Cornwallis, the history of Lucifon.
All right, I'm just gonna burn session advantage. I'm not risking another nat 1.
That's fair. What if I offered you 2? Last night I rolled that on a saving throw for a creature that had a plus 18.
I reject your offer. So it's so generous of you.
Instead, you roll a 1.
Hey, there we go.
All right, and a D10.
And a D10. Let's see if you can beat Glenn. 30.
Nope,
Almost.
30.
Almost.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, we take 30.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Lucifon, the youngest born of Asmodeus, also referred to as the Morning Star. He was born under a different circumstance than his 2 siblings, and as such, was always treated as an outsider compared to the 2 of them. Devils are supposed to be ambitious. They are supposed to be territorial. But his 2 siblings, born of the same mother, seemed to despise him, as he was a child that was a product of a contract that took place. His mother, who had to make a deal with Asmodeus back then, was Zariel. Zariel being the ruler of Avernus, the lord of the first layer, the fallen angel, as she is referred to. She had no part in raising him at all, simply gave birth to him and left him to Asmodeus, doing her part of the deal. Lucifon was raised by devils and enslaved souls that were beholden to Asmodeus. One in particular he was incredibly fond of. It was his mother figure of sorts, his caretaker, the nanny that took care of him. Her name was Clara, an elven woman who had to make a deal with Asmodeus after her son was born with fiendish qualities, showing somewhere in her heritage there was a previous deal made with the Hells, and in her society her child would have been murdered and killed instantaneously because of that. Having to make this deal with the devil, he hid him, transforming him outside of his tiefling visage, and left him on the doorstep of a cobbler, a blind one, as just a half-elf. Someone that would not be blinked at twice within their civilization. Now, when she went back to her people, the people had killed her because she had allowed a devil to exist within their world. As such, she turned into the nanny and caretaker of Lucifon in his younger age, tending to him and loving for him, and in part, the 2 of them did love one another. To him, that was the only mother figure that he had ever known, and to her, that was the outlet of not having the son that she wanted to raise. Now, Lucifon grew up with her, knowing that she was a servant and a slave to the Lord. However, he was very protective of her. Whenever any of the other devils, including up to the ranks of generals, would disrespect her, he would step in and immediately defend her with a zealotness that was unparalleled to any other devil except for his mother. However, his siblings would do this in order to best him, to torture and torment him, as both of them were incredible, devious entities. Lucifon grew up knowing that he had to keep himself separated from her in order to ensure that she did not draw too much attention or ire. And he grew up in the shadow of his brother, who boasted about his greatness very loudly, would talk to any wandering bard who wanted this information, would run any mission that was given to him with fun and ease. He loved doing it. Lucifon instead choosing to take the silent path to practice wielding his blades, having zero aptitude for magic whatsoever. He did not care to learn about it. In his eyes, spellcrafted spellcasting was calling upon forces that were not your own in order to gain power, and he wanted to be his own power. He did not want to call upon his father or any of the other hells. He wanted to be it. Growing up, he did make a name for himself, but not because of his speaking, because of his action. Eventually, there was a position amongst the generals that had opened up, and he decided that he was going to go for it. His brother took the position before there could be a decision made, and as such, Lucifon decided that he thought it was now time for him to best his brother in a bout, knowing that he was going to be outmatched just because of the weapons the two of them wielded. His brother being a horrendous devil who would actually wield a blade meant to destroy devils that he had taken on the battlefields against other demons. And Lucifon choosing that he is going to maintain the weapon that he has always had, the one that he is most proficient in, the one that he knows the best. The two of them battled and dueled. And when Lucifon had gained a large enough upper hand that his brother was on the retreat and defending and scrawling backwards, trying to not get struck and smited by his brother, he let out one whisper. He told Lucifon, "Take this blow or forfeit Clara's life." Lucifon, knowing the threat, had to have substance to it, or else his brother would not dare lie to him. Lucifon, having a keen eye for deception above all else, decided to allow himself to be struck by his brother, dropped to the ground, and accepted that he was more than likely going to die. But his brother did something unthinkable, disrespectful. He spared his life, choosing instead to torment and torture him over the fact that he was bested because of these deceptions, these deceits, these lies. He burst out with an anger, no longer caring about anything else, that his brother was lying, his brother was being deceitful. And he even accused Asmodeus as being weak for allowing these type of actions to transpire within the hells. As such, punishment had to be made. He was struck of his fiendish heritage, wings ripped off, disarmed, and tossed simply into a mortal realm. While he was there, he found a group of halflings that at first he thought were weak, feeble little creatures, but it turned out they were thieves and liars. They had attacked him while he was so incredibly grievously wounded, stripped him of all of his armor, and left him there in the road to die. And then a different one showed up. A caring, loving halfling. One who was much younger than the others, at least in face, though he didn't understand how mortal lives work. He didn't deal with them enough to actually care. He only ever saw them within glimpses at a time. This halfling had nurtured him, carrying his incredibly large body back to his village, tending to his wounds and healing him. Talking with him the entire time, and Lucifon choosing to maintain his silence, knowing very well that it is better to listen than to speak. Knowing your surroundings, knowing what's going on, is far more valuable than letting everybody else know what is going on with you. Believing that this halfling was using him in some way like everything else was in this world, he kept a large breath from him. But while he was being nurtured back to health, he slowly grew fond of this halfling, where he found out that apparently that rogue band of other halflings have been attacking this village and their people off and on, stealing crops, stealing animals, stealing wealth, anything that they could, and nobody was coming out to these poor, humble people out here in order to defend them. Lucifon felt this pain, realizing that weak creatures did not deserve to suffer, as he viewed all of them as weak. But for some reason, this halfling in front of him did not strike him as weak at all. He struck him as endearing, kind, brave, and incredibly naive. This halfling was setting up a meeting with these rogues to come to a better understanding, just as a representative, not even belonging to this village. He just came out here to help them when nobody else would. Lucifon knew better, knew that these individuals were going to try something. And in that moment, Lucifon decided that he was not going to stand by idly while the weak were oppressed by the strong. So he hid. And when this small halfling went to go meet up with these bandits, he saw one of them walking up behind him. And he took a sickle from a farm and used that to slay the would-be assassin against the boy that saved his life. Slaying all of the other bandits in the area, he felt invigorated and powerful. They were terrified of him, as they should be. As a devil, he is an apex predator. However, he felt something he had not felt in a long time ever since he saw Clara. He felt pain in his chest as he realized that this young man was disappointed that he murdered all of those people. The two of them adventured after that, Lucifon choosing to learn from him, and the halfling Harry choosing to try to help redeem him from his evil ways. After some time, they banded up with more individuals, a half-elf by the name of Jackie, and then a magnificent woman by the name of Luna, who Lucifon very quickly fell in love with. Her strength was unparalleled. Her dedication to her research, her study, and her goals, nobody could even come close to. And he realized now what love really meant. It was wanting that other person to have everything that they want, and being willing to do whatever you can to ensure that they will have it, and just protect them. She did not feel the same way towards him, of course, but that did not bother this devil whatsoever. He didn't care if that was ever reciprocated. He just wanted her to succeed. Their travels continued for a very long time. They ended up adventuring and dealing with some magnificently bad individuals. And after retiring, Luna decided that she was willing to settle down with him. And he understood there would not be love. That is not what she feels towards him. They had a daughter. And as such, he named her Clara, after his caretaker. Luna did not care for the name in particular, but understood it was important to him, so she respected that boundary. While the two of them were retired, living peacefully on a farm, they were attacked. These fanatics that understood they needed blood from a very rare circumstance, a child that was born out of fiendish energies as well as celestial energies. They needed that child as a sacrifice. They attacked the farm while he was away, took Clara, and ran to a ritual site. Trigger warning for people. When Lucifon got back, he realized what transpired. And he entered into a rage that he had not felt ever since his brother's betrayal. And he began heading out towards these cultists. Luna following after him after gathering up her information and all of the things that she needed. She was not going there to negotiate. She was going to destroy all of them. Luna hated nothing more than somebody taking something from her. And Lucifon would not dare to lose his child to anybody. When they got there, Lucifon was met with a incredible challenge of celestial entities that were fighting zealotly, believing that they were serving these cultists in order to bring about a new era where mortals would be able to have dominion over their realm. Lucifon was fighting as best as he can, but he was not as powerful as he once was. Ever since he became mortal and gave up his title of devil, he's been growing weaker and weaker, aging, as mortals do. Realizing the depth of his weakness and how he might fail, he did something he swore a long time ago he would not do. And he reached out to his father. He offered Asmodeus a champion who would be able to slay any mortal across any realm for him, would commit any atrocity in his name without a question asked, and who would serve loyally. Asmodeus, knowing the history of his son and how powerful he is, took that offer and immediately turned him back into a devil, allowing him to achieve his prime power once again. Not realizing that Lucifon did something that he never usually does, deceived his father. He said would be willing to, could do this. He never said he would do it. Taking this power and entering in, they slaughtered the cultists as quickly as they possibly could. However, the ritual had already taken place. His daughter was dead. And Luna entered into a state that he had never seen before. A mortal who had snapped. Someone who lost the only thing she cared about. And he had never seen such power before in his life. As she brought back every single person in that cult to life in order to murder them with her own hands again. And then again. And then again. Lucifon, having no choice but to return to the hells as now he is a devil, had to stare as his beloved lost who she was. And the only thing that she could concentrate on was to punish the cult that had done this to him, to her, to their child, and do everything in her power to bring Clara back. Lucifon returned to the hells. When he arrived, his brother was the general in front of him. Lucifon, not wanting to deal with the wordplay of everybody, decided he was just going to challenge his brother now and take over his seat. And when they got into that arena, the devotion that Lucifon had to conquering his brother and conquering the hells so that he could find a way to bring his daughter back was beyond anything that any general had shown up until then. He slayed his brother, and unlike him, he did not offer any mercy. He killed him, and there was not a second wasted. The last thing said between Lucifon and Asmodeus was Asmodeus saying that he's proud of how ruthless Lucifon was. And Lucifon simply telling his father, "You shouldn't be. This is what's going to kill you." He was punished for speaking that outwardly towards the Lord of the Nine. But no matter how much punishment they gave him, he never changed his word, his vow. It meant too much to him. He would sooner die than ever bend the knee to his father, who allowed this deception, who allowed everything like this to transpire, and who allowed cults like these to exist without punishment. Slowly over time, Lucifon had to be released to help with different acts, called upon by mortals, called upon by celestials, and even other devils who wanted him to come back. Eventually, he gained and amassed enough of a following of other devils that were loyal to their layers of hell, but became loyal to him because of what he represented: truth, honor, honesty, and the necessary evil, as he refers to himself. Enveloping and taking on his new title as consequence, he slowly rises through the ranks of the Nine Hells through sheer force of will and power, not politics. And, of course, when an opening in the Nine Hells happened, Asmodeus had no choice but to put one of his children in that seat of position, into that layer. Though he knows this would put Lucifon closer to killing him, Lucifon was not seen as a threat by Asmodeus, as that is a seen threat in front of him. He knows it's coming. There's no way that he wouldn't be able to outplay it somehow. So, he put him in that position of power. And you've caught up to the most recent of history. That is at least written about inside of this library. Lucifon is now one of the Lords of Hell, who was once a mortal, and punished twice by Asmodeus.
What layer is he in charge of?
That's a great question.
I have almost as many notes for this session as I have for every other session I've played in. It's a problem with lore dumps.
Philgathos.
Thank you for that spelling.
Which layer is that?
That is the fourth layer of the Hells.
Fourth layer.
It is the place where the Lake of Hellfire exists. It was once ruled by Belial and Fierna, who, in my universe, were lovers, not twins.
Sweet home Alabama.
Yeah, why not both?
I mean, royalty says keep it in the family, right? Let's look at England. Wait, Christian's not here. Fuck.
Gotta keep the bloodline pure.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the phrasing. Anywho, that is everything you uncover with a 30.
All right. Well, that was a lot of good information. Now I, as a person, want to know how this coincides with what I know.
Interesting, right?
It is.
Yeah. Next up, Genesis. Your investigation roll, please. Keep in mind you do have a D10 as well. Oh, finally, the D10 is good. When the D10 is higher than the actual investigation. All right, so that's a 16. The ritual that takes place has to be taken place at nighttime. It requires a pint of blood by the person giving an offering, where you coat the blade that you are offering to him in said blood, and then place it down into a pool of water, and that will summon forth a vision and contact of Luciphon, where the blade will be taken, and where Luciphon will have access to communicating so long as that wound continues to be open and bleeding.
So I guess
You would also find out that you should be cautious about this, because that wound Luciphon can actually come out of if things are disrespectful.
okay.
So,
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, okay.
yep. Fresh 1 pint of blood from a wound of individual who's still bleeding, poured over the weapon being sacrificed, placed into a pool of water.
Okay.
At nighttime.
At nighttime. Okay, I got that.
Yep. And if you heal that wound, communication is cut.
So I could have. Never mind. Never mind. I won't ask questions.
No, ask questions.
Okay, so if things are like going awry and I have somebody on hand to heal it quick, does
Closed.
that like it closes? But then does that screw things with him, and then I could never talk to him again? Probably.
The ritual's still the ritual, just next time you do that, there will be consequences.
Consequences. Okay.
And presumably you would need another weapon.
Yes.
So would he have that weapon then? Once does it
Yeah.
go with him?
It's an offering.
So yeah, so
Oh.
you coat the person making the offering coats the blade, puts it in the pool of water, and that and with that the blade disappears, and you get an image of Luciphon, and you can speak to him as long as the wound that you cut the blade.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Got it. Thank you. Yay.
And it is a blade of historical or magical power valued at 2,000 GP or more.
Okay.
He's a collector. You're not going to be like, here's a +1 short sword. He doesn't give a fuck.
What? We can't just give him random stuff.
We have this
Here's
dagger. When you stab somebody, it makes glitter fall out.
Here's a dagger I found in the dirt.
Yeah. All right, and I think that is everybody's newest round, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, with all of that information, why don't we go ahead and go and break, everybody? We'll be right back.
going on an adventure.
We're going on a trip to Stygian. Anyways, so, welcome back, everybody. Where last we left off, we just got a shitload of information discovered by Cornwallis. And as of now, the only entity you guys have not found in-depth amounts of information on is Levistus in your primary investigations. After all of this, Tawahaj will pop his head in. It would appear that Bartikov's transformation was a bit more difficult for him to receive. He may be out of commission for a day, maybe two.
Give it to me straight, Tal'Dorei. Is he gonna make it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Reese is going to stay behind to look after him.
Yes, him and Monkey are going to. What did you all discover? Where are you going? What are you doing?
I think we are going to head to Pelagathos. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're going to see if we can open negotiations on Reese's behalf with Luciphon.
So, I knew it. Go ahead. Sorry.
May I give you all a couple of suggestions? If you're going to be speaking with Luciphon, don't lie.
I get that out of his story. I get where you're coming from.
It is very, very bad. And doing what Reese does magnificently well, deceiving, is treated as a lie by him. He does not like it even in the slightest. And, well, if you abide by that, you'll probably survive.
But I think it's probably best if Reese stays here with Bartikov, since he's the one that everyone's actively hunting. So if we go in his stead,
we're just a bunch of tourists.
Yeah, they probably won't care about us as much as they would if Reese was with us. So we can lay the groundwork, and maybe we can get enough interaction with him that it will make it safer for Reese to visit him and negotiate patronage or whatever it is Reese is trying to get.
That is an amazing assumption.
Well, I mean, the really good news is that we found out that the sword that we've been carrying around belongs to him. So, maybe
really
that really gives us, an up in this, right?
Yeah, it seems to be his original blade that he originally dueled his brother with. I'll give some detail to Tawahaj on what we learned about the history of Luciphon, the very abridged version.
Yeah. Not the 20-minute chatter that I did.
Yes, but I loved the 20-minute chatter. It wouldn't be as good if I tried to repeat it.
Gotcha.
I love lore dump episodes, so...
A lot of time I do too.
Is it okay if I ask Tal'Dorei if I can speak with him in private for a minute?
Don't ask, just don't ask me, ask Tal'Dorei.
Tal'Dorei, is it okay if I have a moment with you in private?
Oh, yes, the them creature amongst them. Come with me.
Thank you. How are you doing today?
A little chilly.
Well, I wondered if I could talk to you for a moment.
Very well.
I understand that I have no tie to you and you have no reason or benefit to grant me leniency for what happened in the Hells. I also understand that you are a man of opportunity. So I'd like to offer you a mind to direct and teach, to guide in the masterful cunning and great power. With that being said, I humbly offer myself to learn from you, and in exchange, I will perform favors. I only have one condition. I humbly ask that no favor will directly or indirectly harm or kill any member of my party. That is my only request. Other than that, I am yours. Bear in mind, I am young and have much yet to experience. The last thing is, the gift of new experiences is a double-edged sword, for it also steals from innocence and bonds you to the one who took it.
Oh. Roll me a persuasion.
Come on, big money. You have game advantage.
13.
What is that not good?
13 is above average.
Okay.
Sweetheart, you are in mixed company as of now, where you're going to experience a great many ordeals. Yes, that's how I wish to phrase that. And in order for you to serve me, you would be incapable of serving any other. And he gestures down at your sheaths. I can sense that you currently work alongside them and serve them in some capacity. I am more than happy to let an individual's experience the true passions of fire. However, if you are already beholden to another, well, I don't like sharing. Unless it's, of course, Bartikov, because I just love hearing his stories. It's magnificent.
He does have some pretty great stories.
You should ask him about his first time meeting Lakudra. Glorious tale. Anyways, in time, we will grow either closer or further apart. But when it comes to relationships like this, and he places a hand on your shoulder, and keep in mind, he's so fucking huge. His hand, like, the thumb is over, like, right over your neck, and the fingers are touching your back. We'll build a stronger relationship if it is meant to be. And so long as you all don't fuck me over again, I don't see why I wouldn't be, well, welcoming to have more powerful friends that are fun. I will mention one thing, though. Loosen the hell up. Oof. You need to breathe a little bit. Nobody in this entire plane is stiff. Trust me, if you are, you'll die way too quickly. Just breathe. Enjoy the journey and, yell at your allies once in a while. They probably need it.
Thank you, Tawahaj.
Of course. And he'll just pat you on the head like a kid.
I'm gonna go find Cornwallis.
Immensely yelling.
Tawahaj said to yell at you, so go fuck
yourself.
So you find Cornwallis.
Hey, buddy.
Hi.
How's it going? Good. How are you?
I'm fine. You doing all right?
Yeah. What are you up to?
I'm just getting final things prepped before we head to the Hells yet again.
Can I help you with anything?
We need to see if we can find food.
All right.
He's got to have food here somewhere. We help me pack supplies.
Okay.
Is there something you want to talk about, Genesis?
No, I think I'm going to keep this one to myself, actually.
Okay.
Yep.
It's like two people who know each other from work meeting up outside of it. Oh, hi. Yeah.
I bet you somebody's just somewhere in the background just cackling.
Always.
So, I'm assuming we need a key, don't we, Samdi?
To get to Phlegothos directly, it's a fork, but to get to Phlegothos directly, yes, you do. I can hopefully land us in this. I do have a magic item from this, and that works the same.
This is which? The second layer, Samdi?
Yes.
Oh, this is second. Yeah, here we go.
So we'd have to traverse the third level too, if we went that way.
While Glenn is just juggling his double sticks in the back. Maybe Tawahash has a way to the fourth layer. I mean, he wants to try to expand. Maybe he's got other ways through the hells.
Tawahush just smiles in the archway.
Hi, buddy.
Would you look at that? You all need me again. Makes you feel really bad about betraying me and leaving me in the hells, right? Forgetting about me completely. Abandoning me. And he just saunters into the room.
I feel absolutely terrible about everything. Please,
Of course.
tell me how Please, how do I make it up to you?
He'll pat you on the cheek, but this time it burns.
Ow.
Huh. So what is it you specifically require of me?
I'm just here to acquiesce if you have a magic item or a tuning fork going to Phlegothos.
I believe I have something that I had taken from Phlegothos after my dealings with Lucifon didn't go exactly as well as I wanted. I requested an opportunity to speak to him again in the future, but there are two parts to this. One, if I relinquish my object to you all have to promise that while you are there, you are going to mention the fact that I gave you all this fork to traverse, and he will take it back, of course, and request that he grant me another one for bringing such reasonably mannered individuals into his domain. And two, give me something for it.
I'm gonna go convince Monkey to steal Reese's bag for me, so I can go through Reese's bag of holding and see what we have in there to offer.
Put your hand in there, it's actually a bag of devouring.
The mimic. Oh no! By the time you ask Monkey, he just casually hands it over to you. And also, in the future, since you guys have to, like, actively make him happy with you now, pick up pretty things. He likes pretty things. If you go to a random market and you're like, wow, this shawl is so nice, Tawahaj would probably like it. He's not expensive. He just likes pretty things.
I'm just trying to see what they've got.
So we got the snakebite scimitars. I mean, he has a whole fucking workforce of elemental scimitar wielders.
You just give him all the scimitars. We're not using those for anything.
It's like, I don't know if I remember it correctly, but they're essentially like yuan-ti themed scimitars, and they
there was like 7 of them.
deal some poison damage or some shit.
They allowed you to have dual wield. They were Vances.
And you know who would wield them super well? Myrmidon.
All right.
Yeah. All right, now let's give those up.
The snake bite
scimitars.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
Just delete those.
who's offering it to him?
Well, they're in.
What bag are they in? I didn't see them in Reese's bag.
Just general party loot.
So they're probably in my bag, waterlogged.
Yeah.
Don't worry, they're automatically dried as soon as you take them out into this plane. Just steam. Psh, and then it's gone. Oh. Do you have something for me there?
Somebody looks at them. These are some nice scimitars we found in a pyramid.
He'll come
It's a
over.
very it's a very interesting location. Had a hot spring right above it.
He'll pick them up and start twisting them around, and he wields scimitars expertly, as you would expect any creature of this plane would. Ooh. Didn't Vance use these for a period of time?
Forgot you met him.
Of course I did. Lovely
Did it?
man.
Didn't Vance reborn under him or something?
Vance is a servant under him. Vance was resurrected and has Warlock as with him as a patron now.
Yep.
Oh.
And he has
I
him
didn't-
out doing things for him.
I didn't play him, but because when he came back after Taiwahatch, he had to take a 3rd class, and so he's a level 4 bard, level 4 rogue, level 4 warlock. It just
Nice.
because it fit the story, but it made for a really weird build.
Hey, you say weird, I say brilliant. Well, I believe I could actually use these. Maybe I give it to one of my personal guards, who I'm exceptionally fond of. Yes, I believe this will be reasonable. Thank you. Oh, but do pick me up anything pretty you find along the ways, everybody. Keep your eyes out for anything, really. It doesn't matter. Feminine, masculine, jewelry, clothes, shoes. I like it all.
Is there anything pretty in the hells?
I don't know. Find out for me.
Somebody just looks down the hallway at the immense what would you call that? The immense wardrobe. Just alright then, I'll see if I can't find something in that style.
Yeah, he's a hoarder. But at least he shares.
Adding another mental note. I need to find something pretty and something freaky. One for Tal'Dorei, one for Mama.
My dream is for you guys to introduce the two of them to one another.
I prefer not to have Tal'Dorei as my father.
Father? Hello, son.
No. He's a cool uncle. I don't want this.
Alrighty. Well then, you all can borrow this. And he reaches into his chest, which like expands with fire, and pulls out this tiny little jar and hands it over to you. In you four, he'll hand it to Genesis. And Genesis, it is like nearing to the point of almost burning your hands. It's so hot. You just keep moving it between your hands to not burn yourself.
Potato.
I wouldn't recommend anybody else holding on to that too long. It may hurt you. But I have in there 1 drop of hellfire. Don't open the jar, because if you accidentally spill it on anything other than brimstone, it will immediately destroy it. Even Bart could die from this, so don't. Yeah.
Hellfire bad.
Hellfire the worst.
A monkey.
You found a way to deal with him.
Alright, just gonna edit the page so the snake fire scimitars or snake bite. Too much fire infected the brain.
And I'll add that to Myrmidon's sheet after the session.
Goody.
Yeah. He loves Myrmidon. Myrmidon's great. Myrmidon helped him. But that's love, guys.
So is this supposed to function as our magic item?
Yes.
To get to? Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
It is from the Lake of Fire, which overlooks his his headquarters.
Hopefully we don't just teleport straight into the lake.
That is
That
a
would
hope.
be bad.
All right, guys. You're dead. GG.
We get to tell the 3 that are missing that we're starting a new campaign.
Screw you. Those 3 are still go.
Guess we're just making new characters to join that campaign.
Hey, bring back Vance. It'll be great.
It's true. I could bring back fans.
Anyways. So long, farewell, all of those things.
Bye-bye. Bring you back something nice.
You better.
Yeah.
And casting plane shift.
Alrighty. You all gather up and plane shift away.
Into the swamp.
Oh, that's not the right song.
That's a bit upbeat. That is much more fire and death.
As you traverse across the plains, the air grows thick with the scent of sulfur and brimstone, the very essence of damnation permeating your senses. The landscape before you unfolds like a nightmare given form, a twisted realm of fire and torment known as Phlegrathros. Rivers of molten lava snake through the scorched earth, casting an eerie red glow upon the ashen skies above. Pillars of fire erupt from the ground, casting a flickering shadow that dance in macabre rhythm to the symphony of screams that echo throughout the infernal landscape. As you step onto the charred soil, you feel the oppressive heat searing your skin, equivalent to that of the plane of fire. A constant reminder of the eternal agony that awaits those who dare to trespass in the accursed domain. The very air crackles with malevolent energy as if the very fabric of reality itself is posed to unravel at any moment. In the distance, you catch sight of a citadel, blackened stone with spires reaching towards the sky, like the fingers of some ancient and malevolent god. Within their darkened halls, the denizens of Phlegrathros scheme and plot, and you can see the openness of this citadel. Very few walls around the outside, platforms, perches, openings. You look high above you, and the sight of various draconic devils are flying about, soaring in the open skies. Amidst the chaos and despair, there's a sense of primal power that pulses beneath the surface, a raw and untamed energy that beckons to those who would dare to harness its might. As you begin walking towards that citadel, you see a couple of imps fly past all of you, look at you closely, and fly off towards the citadel even faster.
Guess we aren't coming unannounced.
It's probably for the best. Remember, Tawahaj warned us about lying. I imagine sneaking around would be no better.
Makes sense.
Well, I will do my best to suppress my nature.
Well, as long as you don't lie to him, I mean, I think you can be as insulting as you're willing to get away with. Just, you can be
honest
grating. Just, you know, like be honest with your grating attitude, I guess.
Well, now I know how all of you see me.
Alrighty. So, marching out and through this beautiful location, you find your way over to this moat of lava that seems to stem from those persistent lakes of fire all around you. As you approach over towards it, you see that, much like a typical castle, there is a drawbridge that's currently raised that has two hulking devils standing on either side of it as you approach. They will bark out in Fiendish, Infernal, which I believe Genesis is the only one of y'all who knows. All right, Genesis, you're the one talking.
Yeah, I don't speak it.
Mortals, what brings you to Lord Lucifan's home?
Oh, we just came by for a visit.
We come to request an audience.
We come to request an audience.
And what offering do you bring his lordship?
Cornwallis, can you please help me?
Santi's already listening in.
As Genesis repeats that to Cornwallis, Cornwallis will take the blade off of his back and, you know, present it.
We offer this blade.
He'll look across the moat towards it.
Taken from... Let me find the name real quick.
Versaceles.
Versaceles. Harshaceles.
Harshaceles, yes.
Taken from General Harshaceles.
You all are to blame for that general's death.
Don't lie.
Yes.
The bridge begins to lower towards you. When the bridge touches down, it cracks into the brimstone enough where the flames kind of lick and lurch their way up onto the landing. These two large fiends march out towards you all, and they stand in the back of your group. Forward, they'll say in common.
march forward.
Oh, nice.
Stepping into his estate, you see this hulking spire stretching upwards with this spiral staircase that you have to traverse manually and upwards from. Dangling down from rafters are newly appointed souls that have hooks placed through their bodies to keep them here. On each of them is a sign nailed into their backs or fronts of what their sins were. And every single one of these sins seem to be actual atrocities by anybody's standard. And their torture seems to be, well, hand-delivered by this house. As you travel upwards, higher and higher, you come across the first vast landing that everything in here seems to be coated in gold. The chairs that are magnificently large enough that even the most abominable devil could fit inside of it. They have pools of water that seem to be boiling right now that some fiends are relaxing inside of, and there seems to be a handful of them that are moving much more militaristically, Cornwallis. You see that many of these devils are vastly different from the devils you've encountered thus far. They are militant in nature. They are following drills. They follow their hierarchy as such. They're barking out orders. They are practicing. It's a much different thing. Then you keep climbing higher. I need all of you to give me con saves. Glenn,
How
you're
long
excluded from this because you're a monk.
Question.
Mhm.
How long does it take to go up the stairs?
Probably like 10 minutes, 15 minutes if you're good.
God dang, that's a lot of stairs.
Welcome to hell. It's not supposed to be fun. For your character.
Hold on, just double checking something about Revelation of the Flesh. Oh, sorry, I just want to say I'll spend one sorcery point to just float
Oh, nice.
up the stairs.
Glenn's like skipping up the stairs, like skipping backwards up the stairs. Like, hey, go on, guys, keep up.
All right. Genesis, by the time you reach the top, you are going to be winded, but you make it to the top without collapsing. Cornwallis, you're sweaty, but you've been sweaty for, at this point, as long as you can remember. Fuck, everywhere you've been has been so hot.
It's been weeks. It's been so long. Other than the brief 2 days we spent in the spa
And the
was,
school.
which was
Which
amazing.
was also sweating.
But it was amazing, you know. And then we come to this.
Yeah, remember the school when you got engulfed by a creature made out of water? That was nice.
This seems good. Even the wind guy I'd take again.
Well,
I
think
would
about
go
it, you
for
got-
a nice breeze.
You went from being drenched to slightly damp after fighting the fire thing, and then you got blow dried.
Is it like at least like cooler here than it was in the Plane of Fire?
It's equivalent.
Oh, god dang it.
It's just a different heat. The Plane of Fire raw heat is worse. It is a hotter temperature. But here, there is a slight amount of humidity that just persists. So it's the difference between, Arizona and Florida.
I
Which,
hear
just so you're aware, both fucking suck.
ya.
It's the humidified tears of sinners. Actually, not far off. As you guys all venture higher and higher and higher, you get to a staircase, or a section of this staircase that is completely open. There is no doors to this large throne room. Instead, it is wide open. And you see this magnificent hand-woven rug that stretches across the floor over towards a throne that has a magnificent-looking tiefling sitting upon it, looking at you all. You peer at this paled-faced devil with slick back, long hair, black full-plate mail armor that seems to rest on him comfortably but very powerfully. Despite the metal on him, you can see the muscles that are protruding through all of that, and you can see the incredibly beautiful face he has with these dark eyes that look and analyze each of you as you are walking forward. He stares at you all expectantly.
I think this is the part where we like bow.
I'll take a knee, bow.
Yeah, bow.
Debating.
I'll bow.
He leans back in his throne, still looking at all of you.
I'm just waiting to see what Samdi does, and then I will say something. I just don't want to interrupt Samdi.
Yeah, no, Sandy kind of just stands there and just says out loud, so, do you want the gift now, or offering if you prefer?
He raises a brow at you. Roll a persuasion.
I want to use my game advantage. Where's my persuasion? 17. It's about as good as I'll ask.
He'll look at you. In the realm of the damned, there are no second chances. Make your move wisely.
Lord, oh, were you gonna say something?
I would just say, we come here and in a friendly gesture, seeking your aid and attention, and then I will start taking out my devil sticks. Here's some an intro and entertainment in the meanwhile, and then I'll start playing.
He completely ignores Glenn.
Yeah, it's fine.
Fine, Santi says, and he kind of just takes a bit of a knee, says, we come here offering a gift in search of aid.
The gift that you offer. He gestures before him.
Cornwallis.
We'll go place the blade in front of him.
What is it?
This is. Let me find it. I do have it somewhere. The blade of the Abyssal Blade, Bane, which we took from General Hephaestus. I can't remember. Yeah, Heracophiles. I have it written down. It's just a lot of name, Joey.
It's Heracophiles, yeah.
It's like Hercules and something else, and then sauce.
Horseshoe got in there. Horseshoe got in there at one point.
Yeah.
Which we took from the pit of General Heracophiles after we were forced to engage with him when Asmodeus sent a death order out for our companion Reese, who had angered him.
He'll look at you very closely. Cornwallis, I need you to give me a deception check. You are not lying, but this is his mechanic that he has.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Here we go, baby.
Yep, you fail. He steps up from his throne. approaches over towards you. And you can feel his eyes buried into your back. Deception is a blade with two edges. Is that all you know of this weapon?
Santi will pipe up and just kind of stand up. I'll say, well, for what we have researched, we believe that this could very well be one of yours. Originally, during your duel with your... How would you like me to refer to him? Half-brother?
His eyes squint at you. Heritage is heritage. Blood is blood. Kin is kin. It is my brother. There is no half.
Then your brother.
He'll reach down. And the phrase is, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. That's the real phrase. Community is better than family. He'll reach down, pick up the blade. I have not seen this blade in millennia. Husashalis came to me, offering it to me when I ascended to my position of power. I denied it, since that is no longer my purpose, and I did not wish to fill my court with devils that utilize fear and deception as whispers in ears. I myself prefer a roar of defiance. He'll take the blade over to his throne, place it against it, where it begins to meld in, and you realize now this throne is made out of hundreds of unique, beautiful artifact or lower level blades. You all, for better or worse, have my undivided attention. Speak.
Well, as I care to remember it, I'll begin with a preliminary. We were given a gift of yours to a certain... I don't know if you care to call it a gift. We were given an item you gave to one Tal'Dorei, the Farsighted, to arrive to Phlegothos unassailed. He humbly requests that he be allowed another. For that is between the two of you.
He's also a really cool dude.
He is one who practices in the golden tongue.
Yeah. I do feel like he's, well, a bit of a, what would you call it, a wordsmith. He also does like action instead of words. In fact, just recently he used those sorts of methods against us, but Unless you ask, I don't feel like I need to share.
Not needed. I can see its effects on your face. Good. Perhaps I will welcome him down here again in the future. All of you rise. You only bow to me if you serve me, and I have not accepted your blades yet.
Right. I didn't know if it was customary or not, because, you seem like, royalty and such, so it seemed customary. My bad.
I'm not royalty anymore, and I choose to be treated upon my deeds and worth, not my birth. I've heard of your companion. In fact, after you all arrived here, we've uncovered at least 5 different devils at this point who were secretly working for the other lords who were coming to kill you on their behalf. Needless to say, I do not tolerate betrayal.
Oh.
You all, while within my domain and speaking to me, are considered guests until I find that you are disrespectful, lying, or generally deceitful creatures, and you will not be attacked by them.
Well, thank you for your hospitality.
He begins pacing around this very grand showroom. Your companion has a addiction to power, from what I've surmised.
Yeah, but he'll never admit that.
Doesn't matter. It's easy to see. I understand. Power is a hungry beast, always craving more. I'm a willing servant of power. And I too see a day where Asmodeus is forfeited of his title and possibly even life. What I'm wondering is, how does he believe, either with all of you or more foolishly by himself, he could possibly ever best the king of deceit?
I am not one to speak for him until the party at Baron Pote's. I didn't even think he had it in him. So I feel like that's more of a talk you two could be having if we talk you into granting him audience at a later date, as he's not with us.
And all of you, you understand the predicament he puts you in. These agents from other lords now target you, even outside their domains, because of your association. How do you plan on dealing with him?
You said with him as in reference to Reese?
Yes.
I don't know how the relation is for everybody else. I look over at Cornwallis, but Reese has been a good traveling companion, and he's been there for me when I needed him. And despite how people might see him, he's a good guy underneath, and I risk my life for him.
He'll look at everybody else, one by one, and his gaze is something that feels piercing into you. Glenn, you could not possibly succeed on the deception check anyways. So Samdi and Genesis, I do need deception checks from you. Again, this is not you deceiving him actively. This is his unique ability.
It was pure honesty, by the way, from Glenn. He was
I'm aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Fail.
We're-
All right.
No, yeah, oh, good. We're both active deceivers here. Anyway.
My own relationship with Reese is not as positive or straightforward as Glenn's is. His actions to embarrass me in front of Lilith at the same party that he angered Asmodeus is still somewhat of a point of contention with me and Reese. I've recently done some searching and I've forgiven him mostly, though I don't know that it will ever be great friends. But he has put all of us, and therefore the people I care about, admittedly some more than others, in great danger. And while I've hunted a great many things in my life, and I've traveled a lot of places, I'm under no delusions that I can fight off the weight of Asmodeus and Hell's Fury by myself.
Betrayal is a wound that festers in the soul, is it not?
It is at that. Fortunately, there seems to be a lot of things that fester in the soul.
He'll turn his attention now to you, Genesis.
Logically, my loyalty lies with my party and the members in it. I have this feeling that if there were some great reveal or betrayal, that I guess I would have to just wait for those moments to arrive and unveil themselves for me to make the final decision on what to do. I can't see the future. I'd have to take it as the situation arises. But initially, my loyalty lies with my party.
You learn a lot more about an individual speaking to their peers than to themselves. Mortals have a tendency of lying so expertly they do it even to themselves. Loyalty is the foundation upon which empires rise and fall. Those who betray only find themselves buried beneath the rubble. By the sounds of it, he has betrayed all of you, at least in some capacity. And yet many of you are still loyal. What has he done that deserves this loyalty from you?
He's been kind to me.
Well, I could go on with an entire list of how he helped us out, starting all the way from the beginning, providing us like a way around where we started, and but if you really want to get to the nitty gritty of it, I believe when you make friends with people and you travel together, their goals become your goals, right? And sometimes when you're trying to figure out your goals, you make mistakes, and friends wouldn't be friends if they ditched you at the first sign of you being in trouble. And that's what it really boils down to. If I was in his shoes, I would want my friends to be there for me. So I'm doing exactly that.
I need you to give me... Fuck, what would that be considered? I'm gonna say a wisdom check.
All right. I'm mind blanking if I use my game advantage yet today.
No game advantage yet. You had advantage from being helped by Samdi.
Okay.
I'm the only one I think that used their game advantage. So
I used it earlier.
oh, did you? Okay.
Here's my game advantage then.
You also have recap advantage too.
Nice. Come on, baby, give me something. All right, let's just use that recap.
Well, no, advantage gives you an advantage on the die roll. It's only donated ones that allow you to re-roll.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
So if you have any more monkeys lying around.
I do not. I used all of mine.
Damn.
Ugh.
14's average, though.
It's a save, but it's the same thing.
Yeah. Actually, no, it has to be the... When I say give me a specific check, you have to roll that specific check, or we ignore what you rolled. That's always been the way we do it. You have to do the right thing. Do the proper roll of a wisdom check.
Just click on the word wisdom on your stats on the far left.
Yeah.
Oh, on the actual... I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, those are clickable.
It has to be the right roll. Yeah.
So can I roll my game advantage on this one then?
Well, you already did, so do it.
Okay.
We're ignoring that first one you rolled because it wasn't the proper roll. 17.
Okay.
Anybody proficient in insight, roll insight.
There's an insight. I'm having a bad day.
Yeah. Cornwallis. While he's listening to Glenn speak, you see, for the first time in this encounter, a subtle softness that seems to move over his face, and that he firms away yet again to make sure he keeps his stoic status. You see that something about the way Glenn is talking seems to have pierced through his armor-like exterior.
Loyalty, while straightforward in concept, can be winding in execution. And while I don't know, no, I do know. My loyalty to Reese is not enough that I would place myself in this danger solely for his sake. But his actions have endangered someone that I would. And sometimes one loyalty can force a loyalty to another. So Reese's actions in earning loyalty from someone that I too owe loyalty to is the reason that I will stand with him. Cornwallis probably is not the best person to talk for Reese, but
Yeah, of course not. Actually, in this situation, you probably are, because you're honest about him.
yeah.
Everyone else has a slight delusional POV. Whereas Cornwallis, no, you'll...
I'd hang him out to dry if it wouldn't cost others, especially Genesis, their life.
Yeah.
Huh.
And he knows that.
Oh, yeah, he sees that clearly.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Lucifon, but yeah, he sees that very clearly.
Yeah.
I believe in the strength of loyalty. It is the entire basis that I've built this new Phlegethos upon. He walks over to one of the many open windows, reaches behind himself and pulls out a scroll. He'll gesture for all of you to walk over as well.
Alright.
When you look outside, you see his legion of devils flying in the air, weapons stowed at their side, just waiting for any command he gives. He will hold out the deed, not looking. To any of you that believe you can do a better job leading Phlegethos than I offer you the chance to take this scroll and gain dominion over this layer of hell. I will relinquish my title to you immediately. You will have it, and you can do with it as you see fit, and I will bend my knee and serve as all of you have done towards me. As he holds the scroll out there, you see across these legion of devils, not a single one even bats an eye. None of them seem even remotely hesitant about staying where they are. Insiders, you may roll again.
Jesus.
It's slowly getting better.
The best I rolled was an 8.
Cornwallis, there is not a look of fear in the eye of any of these devils that you can see. Now, mind you, there is more devils than you could possibly see if they just go far back enough. It's a literal legion of devils. But there's no fear of what he is offering. You see a determination and loyalty that, admittedly, you have only seen a couple of times within the Githyi ranks. And he's not even looking at all of them. He's just looking at all of you, holding it out. These individuals are no threat or consequence to me. Resume your patrols and hunt down all of the traitors within our realm. They will not be tolerated. And immediately all of them give a very discerning salute, which sends a palpable wave of heat into the air before they disperse. Takes the scroll and stows it back behind his cape. Loyalty is all that I ask of anybody, and it is something I always earn. You tell me that this individual has earned the loyalty of others, but not you. And yet those others are individuals you have gained loyalty towards. Because they've earned it. That is correct?
Yes.
Then I ask you frankly, do you believe that he deserves my loyalty?
Honestly, I don't know. I have not known. Oh, were you going to say something, somebody?
No, I was going to until you said something. Go ahead.
Oh.
Go ahead, Cornwallis.
I have not known Reese that long. And I don't know how well he gives or receives loyalty. But I do know that we need help if we're going to survive. But I'm not going to try and stand here and tell you without a doubt that he deserves your loyalty for the sake of saving those that I care about.
Honest opinions. Does he deserve your loyalty? Probably not. But if you give him your loyalty, especially in this darkest hours of his, I could definitely assure you that he will respond in kind.
He begins taking a few steps away from the open archway. And you all see... All of you are fairly perceptive, right? Except Genesis. You all see... in the distance that there's this large Baylor-esque creature flying towards this place. You've only seen 2 of those within his legion. That's not one of those 2.
She's gonna look out the window. Were you expecting guests?
He'll rotate his attention over there. I wasn't even expecting all of you.
Fair enough. And I believe he's here for us.
You all step back behind me.
I will acquiesce.
Yeah, you seriously you got this.
Between that thing and the Lord of a domain of hell, I know who I'm betting
I'll tell you who my bet is on. I'll bet the house.
The Baylor lands, making him look admittedly small by comparison. And as it lands, it draws out its whip and its sword and just begins lowering its head, arching to look past him, where he cranes his neck to make eye contact with the creature. I know you are not looking at my guest like that right now. The Baylor stops for a moment and turns to him. Lord Lucifer, your father has demanded that you turn over these guests of yours immediately. Oh. Guests, would you like to leave with the nice Baylor here?
No, thank you.
I have to decline.
No.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Well, it would appear you have your answer. Thank you for coming by. You are not going to turn down an order from my what? You think him seeding me into existence grants him any innate power over me? You're a fool. These individuals are my guests, and so long as they are on Philigrathos, they are protected by my entire legion. You will not defy my word. The Baylor takes a step back. You would be wise not to go against your father. He demands that you do not help them in the trial. Oh, well, if he demands it. You know what, everybody? Yeah, you should bring him here. I still need to dot some I's and cross some T's, but we might be able to come to a mutual understanding. And as for you, little Baylor, if you step foot into my dominion without asking me again, then I'm going to take you and bury you inside of the pit of ceaseless fire, and you will not escape until you are destroyed. He begins taking a step back, and all of you feel this rippling aura emanating off from Lucifer that, if it was touching all of you, would be far worse. It is the most oppressive feeling you have ever had. It is a dominating aura that he has that just seems to filter out from him into the other creature, and you can see the Baylor is struggling not to drop to its knee while looking at him. The Baylor bows its head, takes a step backwards, and then jumps into the air. Lucifon will call out, "The Baylor is to be immediately killed if he steps foot into my dominion again without a letter from me." And you see portions of his legion just start escorting the Baylor away. As I said, loyalty is a very strong foundation. Now, are you going to be returning immediately, or do you wish to relax here for a little bit?
I'd like to stay here for a day.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Mr. Lucifon, would like to pick your brain a bit about a few things.
Refer to me as Lucifon. That is title enough.
All right, Lucifon. I did read somewhere in your past that you had like you were once like half elven of sorts.
No.
Did I remember that wrong?
He had an elven nanny.
An elven
And
man,
she made a deal with Asmodeus to make her tiefling son appear as an elf so it wouldn't be murdered by her people.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay.
So that's the half-elf.
Right. Well, I mean, I do know you were raised with some like elven influence and such, and I did also realize that you have this particular fancy for blades. This is some ancient tech from elven lineage, and I'll begin performing my blade song. And as I'm performing, it's not cackling anymore. It's like more like
Don't stop me now.
it's joyous laughter that you would hear from like people gathering around like a campfire or something, just having a good time. It's no more of the cackling and such.
So joyous
And,
laughter, like a ha 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 ha, ooh, ha ha, or like a ha 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 ha.
Whichever you guys prefer, I guess. But
No creepy to me.
Glenn will look over at Lucifon and say, "I was wondering if you have like maybe like some techniques or something you could like show a blade enthusiast like myself."
Are you wishing to spar with me?
Oh, I mean, you seem like a really tall order, but I mean, I'm up for a round or two, I guess. Go easy on me.
To raise a blade from one individual to another is to admit that they are worth having the blade raised, either in honor or in death. I will not go easy on you. That would be dishonorable towards you.
Mentally to Cornwallis. Where should we bury him?
Glenn will,
Maybe at one of the schools.
yeah, come on. Have some faith. Glenn will like pep himself up a bit and get more serious. Like, I hear what you're saying, brother. Let's give it to me straight then. Let's do some serious sessions.
Very well. He will take off his cloak, which just bellows outwards and flutters over towards the throne naturally. And then he will raise his hands outwards, where you watch as two hulkingly large greatswords appear in either hand. And then you begin to see each of the blades of the throne shoot out and begin floating behind him.
Some anime shit right there.
That shit is sick.
He's a Lord of Hell. He has to have some cool shit. Do not worry. I only wield 2 blades at a time. And he takes one step and swings at you. I need you to give me a dex save or a strength save. Your call.
Let's go with Dex, baby. Okay.
As he swings the blade, clearly not holding back at all, with a precision that would easily cut through you. Immediately, your instinct, or immediately your training tells you, parry. But when you see the force behind the strike, every instinct in your body tells you, move. And you dodge out of the way as he lodges the blade into the stonework of his obsidian tower. But I can call upon any of them when I need. He relinquishes his grip on that one, and then you watch as the blade you all just gave him shoots into his grip as he points it at you.
Billy to Cornwallis. Oh, thankfully he's not a demon.
I'm gonna miss it though. That was such a fun blade to wield.
He did get a bit of a blood frenzy.
So,
Yeah, but
He's
it's not all bad.
he's wielding a great sword in one hand.
and then a great sword in the other.
God damn.
Yeah.
Like I told you, anime bullshit.
His strength score is epic.
When he puts one in his teeth is when I quit.
No, fuck that. That's lame as shit.
He places one between his ass cheeks.
Come at me, clutch. Anyways, the two of you go into a sparring bout where it is very clear that this man has ages of experience against you. It is very clear that his strength is unrivaled. You have not encountered something as strong, except perhaps the earthen ape. And as you are fighting with him, you're also noticing his swipes against you are all clear kill shots, which makes it a lot easier for you to dodge and do your best to parry. He is not going to hold back, but you know every attack he is giving, he is attempting to kill you. But that means you know where to guard. There's only so many places you can get stabbed and instantly die. So, protecting those locations and moving as nimbly as you can, after probably 30 seconds of this, he will call out, "Do you not utilize the full potential of the blade saw? I've dueled individuals in the past with it."
I mean, I'm kind of, I feel like in the past, like I used to know more, but I'm kind of like unlocking it again, so a little rusty, so to speak. But working my way back up there. Fun fact, you here learning about the Blade Song, you know my family kind of started that stuff.
That is something I did not know. In fact, the legendary Blade Singer's blades are among the only ones I don't own in my collection.
Well, maybe one day we'll get you one, but you can't have this one. so we only harmonious.
Not even if I kill you.
If you kill me, maybe.
If he kills you, I'm not fighting him for it. You're not getting buried with it, Glenn.
Right. Well, then by order of nobody else is here to contend you otherwise, yes, you would take it. I'm still trying to be honest because I know.
He will continue sparring with you for another 30 seconds, and it is a very clear, dominating presence that he has within the fight. Glenn, in a 1v1, you would never stand a chance.
Oh, no way. I feel, besides him trying to, like, just completely just stay alive from this encounter, he is trying to, like, get a little bit more into, like, understanding techniques and also, like, insighting into his, like, his style, you know, like, how that reflects him.
Okay. His blade technique is a dominating assault of attacks. One benefit of dual wielding such large blades is the perpetual motion that he creates. His defense is the persistent attacks that just keep unrelentingly happening. It's honestly incredibly difficult for you, as quick as you are, even to find a moment to try to do more than maybe just kick him in the stomach or parry a little bit and elbow him in the face. And he'll take it, and he does bleed. But none of this seems to be very damaging to him by comparison. You can sense that his technique stems from something that you haven't noticed in other blade users. It's breathing. He's very methodical about the breaths he takes and how he strikes with the release of these breaths in order to empower them and draw forth additional strength in all of it.
I guess the last thing, the most important thing to Glenn is Lucifon enjoying himself.
Insight check.
I am doing a D6 on this.
Something I saw. Cool, thank you.
I just rolled for the...
Damn it.
12.
That's the best I got.
Lucifon does not have proficiency in deception. However, his passive deception beats that.
He might not like hiding, he might not like deceiving, but he's got one hell of a poker face.
Oh, yeah. It is difficult to discern if he's actually experiencing joy or just going through the motions of all of this for you? Mostly because it's difficult for you to stare at his face long enough without moving your face and getting the fuck away from another swipe.
In all honesty, I probably should roll at a disadvantage.
He's not that hard to read. You just... Yeah. But anyways, after about a minute of this, he's left you on the floor and... Genesis?
Yes.
You said you were going to say something. Go ahead.
Yes. Oh, me next.
Yeah, he's all yours.
Yes.
Well, it would make more sense for me to spar both of you simultaneously.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, you want? Fair enough.
Do you want the fair ones, Genesis, or do you want me to join in?
Whatever you feel comfortable with. Honestly, no. I want to go by myself.
Yeah, you got this.
Very well.
Ag.
As soon as you slap his hand, you see the massive blade crashing down exactly where you're standing. I need you to decide now. Are you going to be dex saving or strength saving to
Dex.
avoid that? Okay.
Wait, hold on. What do I have? Strength, I guess.
Okay.
They both kind of suck. Oh, yeah.
5.
Damn it.
No.
God damn it. Damn it.
As soon as you get tagged
Shit.
in, you jump into the fight, and immediately his blade crashes down and just hooks into your shoulder by like a good 4 or 5 inches.
I deserve this.
Sunk, pulls the blade out, places a hand on your head, and will pump the equivalent amount of lay on hands that you require to heal you. The wound seals back up. Is that enough for you?
May I please go again?
Roll me a persuasion.
Paladin, not a paladin like Bart. He's got the strength.
20. You know I will not go easy on you. And he has a little bit of a smile at his cheek, raised up towards his cheek.
Yes, sir, I know.
Very well. You can give another strength save.
Shit!
4. This time... Yeah?
I want to tell you something. You still have my ring of evasion.
Oh, you would have
Oh.
advantage on dexes.
No, you automatically succeed dexes.
Would I? Because Dex, I have like 0 next to it.
So what?
No, the
Go ahead.
ring.
The
Sorry.
ring says that. Go ahead, Zombie.
You're new to this. The ring is a magic item I gave you a while back for you to use because I didn't have the attunement slots for it.
Okay.
If at
Yes.
any point you fail a dex save, you can use I think it's a reaction, or it's just automatically. You can say, hey, I use one of the charges in my ring, one of 3 per
Okay.
day, and you just say, I want to succeed this, and you instantly succeed.
Okay. Can I do that?
Very well. On the next one, he hacks into you twice now in 2 spots that are nearing lethal, and he dumps the rest of his lay on hands to keep you alive. Again?
Yes, sir, please. One more time.
Very well. And he starts coming, now twisting the 2 blades on different directions. And this time you flick the ring in your fingers and dodge perfectly sideways, as the ring helps you do. I didn't know they had a death wish. And then we'll continue the assault against you as you are evading as best as you can. Clearly not trained in doing so, but also relying on your ring to help get you out of those at least a few more times. And during the bout, he will say, I must say, it has been some time since I've dueled somebody with such an abrasive fighting style.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure stuff out, but no better way to learn than to just do it, right?
Fight as many people as you can, as much as you can. It's the best way to learn defense. Fight somebody stronger than you. Best way to learn offense. Learn to best that person, and never let them be stronger than you. continues the assault over and over and over. And after about a minute of all of this, you inevitably kind of become too exhausted to continue, and he will wipe a little bit of sweat off of his brow. Would anybody else like to go?
Can I ask him any questions? Or...
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Does he have any other, do you have any other, like, tips for me, like, as far as fighting style, like, other than just trying to not get hit? Are there any attack things that I should try? I wield dual blades.
He'll lift you up, and he'll position your one blade forward. When an individual strikes at you directly forward, the power that they are thrusting with can be diverted with yourself. Make sure you pivot using your forward foot and slide out of the way of the embrace. And then he puts his blade over top of yours to show like a push of a parry to the side. And because of your other one, you decide where they are least expecting a thrust. You can go above towards them, leaving you vulnerable down below, but a much higher chance of hurting them. Or you can thrust down below in an area unseen and defensible to yourself. You can even use an individual with a larger blade and their blade to blind them in the fight and take advantage of that. He'll show how, with his blade as large as it is, there are many moments where you cannot see his eyes, so he's easier to hit technically.
Yeah. Cool. And then, can I ask you, Joey, can I tell if he's having any kind of... I also want to ask a question like Glenn's. Is he having any kind of emotion towards this? Almost like a paternal emotion, like he's teaching a child.
Go ahead and roll an insight check.
Okay. There's that.
Have they used their game advantage yet? Oh, too late.
I don't believe so, but yeah, 17. Or, sorry, 13. Yeah, that doesn't beat his passive.
Shit.
You saw that little rise of the cheek when you were defiant and stepping down despite the fact that he almost killed you twice. But aside from that, his face is incredibly difficult to read. It's just... It is so used to staying in one status form that it seems to revert to that naturally, without any attempt on his behalf.
Right. Well then, thank you, sir. It was an honor.
Of course. All right.
As Genesis is walking back, Glenn will say, "I think he was having fun with us."
You know, Glenn, I think you were right. I thought it was fun. Did you have fun, Glenn? I had a gay old time. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, it was... Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was great. Well, besides, worrying for my life, but
You look a little tired. Are you okay?
I might need to start employing your tactics and just take it head on instead of just dodging.
Well, I had the ring. I mean, I had a little help. I didn't really do a whole lot.
Magic's also, part of you, I guess,
Do you go lay down? Do you want some help or something? Are you okay?
It's really funny because, I don't need to breathe, but right now I feel like I need to breathe.
Well, okay, let's maybe put your arms over your head. I hear that helps.
There's a tremendous strength that stems from somebody who breathes while fighting. You should implement that into your blade work.
Good advice. Gotta get used to breathing.
Now, for everybody else, how about a small banquet?
Yeah, I'm wicked hungry after all that. That is a good idea.
Very well. He brings you all down. My main question is, how does he sing if you don't breathe? It's never been him.
Fucking It's like a ventriloquist over here.
Yeah, the body is just a dummy for the soul. Yeah. Anyways, he brings you guys down one more level. Once you get down there, you see this large hall with a table placed down that many devils are currently standing behind numerous chairs. Now, the table easily sits 40 individuals. And he walks over to 4 of the devils towards the top of the table. I have personal guests here today. I know you've been waiting probably a week or two to have your chance to sit at my table and speak with me. I would ask that you relinquish these chairs so that my guests can be here. And I assure you, tomorrow's dinner, you'll be at the front. And all 4 of these devils, which look admittedly kind of lower level, kind of just like, as you will, Lord Lucifon. Thank you. The 4 of them stand up from the table and go to eat with the rest of the ranks. He'll gesture at the chairs. It is my custom that, if you belong to my legion, that we rotate through who sits at this table every day, so that everybody within the ranks can give me their suggestions or critiques that are needed, without the need to go through proper channels. Today we'll make an exception for all of y'all.
It's very kind of you.
Thanks so much.
You sit down, and the banquet before you has apples, which are labeled from a material realm. And aside from that, it is just mess hall food that you would have in barracks. Very generic, not super well seasoned food that everybody seems to eat. But then there's also the apples, which Lucifon seems to be very fond of and has about 3 apples during the entire meal. While you all sit down, relax, and have a gay old time eating with Lucifon, eventually the meal does come to a natural conclusion, and he will show you all over to the barracks. The only sleeping quarters we have, aside from my personal chambers, are the barracks, so all of you are going to have to make do there.
The barracks is fine. I've certainly slept in far more uncomfortable places than a barracks.
No worries. I just need a wall to lean against. I'm good.
I'm not exactly sure Glenn sleeps.
Do not be staring at my soldiers while they sleep.
Okay. Well, this will be a first. Sleeping facing the wall.
We can just put a hat over your eyes, Glenn.
Do you not
Yeah,
have
that works.
sunglasses? Or...
Drape a blanket over you.
Yeah, that works too.
Drape a cloak over Glenn's head.
He will allow you all to rest here, where when we come back next week, you guys will be allowed to gather up Reese and everybody else and see if they cannot come to a mutual agreement or if Reese has a better idea by then. So, that's about the best we can pull off this week with last-minute call-outs, but players, thank you all very much for playing. Viewers, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.